Jake Moody has found himself at the top of everyone's, I'll just say a particular list after missing 2 field goals and an extra point in the game against the Lions. And it's also taxed on to a bunch of different misses that he has had on the season. So we know how fans feel about it. We've heard all of that. But when you hear guys like Richard Sherman come out and say something real strong about a player from the same fraternity and, on the 49ers, we know Sherm's got relationships with the Niners. Not looking good for Jake Moody. Take a listen to what Sherm had to say, and we have some actual very damaging data that also kind of goes along with what Richard Sherman is saying. But take a listen to Uncle Sherm right here.
But Jake Moody got to go. Jake Moody has to go at this point. And I know fans, are so sensitive because we're in a day and age where everybody gets a participation trophy and no, you don't talk bad about anybody, but you got to do your job. And at the end of the day, this team loses the game by 6 points. He missed 2 field goals in a PAT. You missed 2 field goals in a PAT. I mean, this is a business where you have to execute, especially at that position. And he has not done it at a high enough tilt. And I understand he was drafted and had all this acclaim. The Detroit Lions found their kicker in a brick shop, doing a heck of a job, Jake Bates. No offense to him, no shots at him, but you can find a kicker literally anywhere. I think they've done the best they could to hold on to him and try to make it work and try to develop him, but it's time to let it go.
So, I mean, he didn't mince words. It was straight to the point. Jake Moody's got to go. And, I said something very similar yesterday. And if you guys know anything about me, it takes a lot for me to start calling for people's jobs, to start calling for people to get benched. I have done this long enough to be able to understand that there are families and friends and all of these types of people who engage with my content. So a part of it is to try to also be respectful to these people. And, I've created relationships with them. And so, having firsthand accounts of all right, I think there's a specific way that I want to go about talking about these things. So for me to call for someone to get cut, they have to, it has to really be something. It can't just be oh, he's had a bad stretch, or it's, oh, that, it's no, if a guy is playing really, really bad, you have to call for what it is. And so, yesterday for me was the first time where I was really it had been building, but it was all right, this can't happen. I can't even fathom how the 49ers go into next year with Jake Moody as their kicker, at least without being in the middle of a full blown, kicking competition. And the only reason why that would occur is because they invested a 3rd round draft pick into him. That would be the only reason. Otherwise, they would just cut bait and they would go find another kicker because they're all over the place. Go find them, just like his point about the Lions kicker. Now, not every case is built the same, but look at the 49ers punter that they have right now. They just found him just chilling on the couch. They found 2 kickers that came in and kicked well for them that were just chilling. So this is something that can't happen next year. It just can't. And I just really think that, it's an unfortunate situation. I was rooting for Moody. I was hoping he was going to be successful. We knew it was going to be an uphill battle once he was selected in the 3rd round, but man, it's been tough. But the data, even, I'm not a big advanced analytics guy. I'm a big tape watcher, but when the data is showing you, and again, for clarification, this is San Francisco has now lost a league high 55 expected points on special teams over 17 weeks. So basically 55 points that the 49ers have kept off the board due to special teams. And a lot of that comes from Jake Moody, who's responsible. Like, for example, 7 points left off the board last night against the Lions. The 49ers lose by 6. It contributes. It contributes to how games are called. It contributes to how games are won or lost. And when you're the kicker and you're relied on for these things, it's just an unfortunate scenario. And you know that Kyle isn't about that. Like, I think he said it all when he had mentioned when he spoke to Moody on the phone on draft night. He said, don't make us regret this." Effectively putting the pressure on Moody, like, don't make us regret picking you in the 3rd round. And as it stands right now today, they absolutely regret taking him in the 3rd round. So I don't think it's going to get any better. It's a confidence issue. It has nothing to do with his ability to kick. It has everything to do with the confidence in himself. And if Kyle's lost confidence in him, clearly his teammates have lost confidence in him as well. If you look at the situation that happened with Debo in Tampa, like, that was crystal clear. So it's a tough scenario, man. Again, we have to have these conversations at the end of the year. We have to do our kind of end of year inventory. And one of the inventories that we got to cross reference is the special teams room. And you have to actually think that the 49ers could have a completely new special teams room next year. Mitch Wishnowsky has chronic back issues. I don't think the 49ers can rely on Mitch. I think that you have to, like I said, at minimum, bring in competition for Moody. And if they fire Schneider, the special teams coach, you might as well just go after a new long snapper and just reset the room and just say, all right, we gotta change the culture of this room, and we just got to bring some new faces in here, because what we have right now, it just isn't working. So, bold thoughts from Sherman, but I don't think he's speaking out of turn. I think, he speaks for a lot of people and how they feel, um, with how the season has gone, specifically with Jake Moody at kicker. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.